outstanding. Wagner's going to make his first All-Star team along with Paolo. They're going to have 2 All-Stars this year. Getting Bane from Memphis, it's huge, quietly huge. They needed some more shooting. They needed some defense. They needed a veteran leader who's played in some big games. He could do that, getting Tyus. And then they're young, talented players, get older. Just keep an eye on these guys. I really expect Paolo to make an MVP caliber jump.
All right, we do have breaking news this morning. Another NBA team is changing hands. Shams Charania reports that NHL Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon has agreed to buy the Trailblazers from the estate of Paul Allen for a valuation of over $4 billion. Mark, anytime you have someone buy a team that does not live in that team's city, the questions always begin. Will the team stay in Portland?
Yes, the Allen estate has made it where anybody that bought the team has to keep the team in Portland. So Blazers fans, you could certainly take a breath of relief. The team's not leaving. And their new owner is quite interesting. Yeah, he's a Texas guy and Carolina guy, but he turned around the Hurricanes in terms of, making them a winner. And he also has refurbished their arena. He's going to refurbish this arena, get it ready for the 2030 Final Four, Women's Final Four. And let's see if he could add some extra juice. But he's an owner that will be a new NBA owner, but I think because of his NHL background and pickleball and other things he owns, I think he's going to do it the right way.
Do you play? I was going to say, pickleball's hot.
I'm scared of my Achilles.
All right, still to come on.
Sport for you.
Still to come on NBA Today. The Fever's comeback falls short against the Wings as Indy remains without Caitlin Clark. We've got an update on her status with the playoffs a month away. Plus, opening night in OKC, baby. The Thunder will raise their first championship banner with Kevin Durant in the building. Oh, and my beloved Rockets fans won't have to wait long for Kevin Durant to make his Houston debut as KD will lead his new squad to his old stomping grounds in OKC on opening night. We now welcome an NBA reporter, Tim McMahon, who covers all things Texas NBA, all things Rockets. Tim, what were your first impressions when you saw the league schedule makers worked their magic and decided to have KD in OKC as the Thunder raised their first ever banner?
Howdy, Vanessa. I had a deep appreciation for the NBA's feeling for how to create a little bit of drama. How do you create drama with a bunch of Boy Scouts raising a championship banner to the rafters? You bring back the guy who spurned that city almost a decade ago. And look, Kevin Durant's free agency departure has kind of loomed over the Thunder franchise for years now. They got out from under that shadow last year. Obviously, this is about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder, a championship team, perhaps a dynasty that's blooming in Bricktown. But look, even Game 7 of the NBA Finals, what was the biggest story of that day? It wasn't Game 7 of the Finals. It was Kevin Durant being traded that morning, kind of his pursuit of happiness continuing now to a 5th stop of his NBA career. And where better for that edition of Kevin Durant's career to begin? Where it all began, back in Oklahoma City, and they're finally celebrating a championship there.
However poetic opening night may be, do you think it's going to serve as that closure for the Thunder organization and their fan base?
I mean, this will be one heck of a litmus test. Is this going to be about the angst of Kevin Durant or the celebration of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, and this team that just reeled off 68 wins, just won a championship, has a chance to potentially be a dynasty if they are ever going to not forgive, but kind of forget about the anger towards Kevin Durant. It will be on this night. Having said that, I'm not sure that he will ever be fully forgiven in Oklahoma City. I'm not sure that number 35 will ever be up in those rafters alongside that championship banner.
Might I add that Steven Adams and Jeff Green will be there too? Maybe that'll soften things up a little bit. I don't know, Mark, do you think the bad blood is there to stay?
Look, it's time to let it go, at least from the Thunder franchise. I don't know that the Thunder fans are going to let it go anytime soon. But, I covered Carmelo Anthony, his first 8 seasons or his first 4 seasons in Denver, and that bad blood has never, went away. And now it looks bad. Carmelo's going into the Hall of Fame, and there's still not an olive branch between him and the Nuggets. And I remember seeing Vince Carter tear up when he went back as a player to Toronto, and they healed. Melo never got that. So what do the Nuggets do now? Now Joker is wearing his jersey. he deserves his jersey to be retired there. He's one of the top scorers of all time, and I think the Thunder need to get ahead of it. Do some things to make Durant feel good about his time there. He won an MVP. He led them to their first finals. He's going to make the Hall of Fame. Be the bigger person and get him back into the fold.
Be the bigger person. Asking that fan base that was in their feelings.
Thunder as an organization to be the bigger person.
Oh, you're saying that not the fans.
No,
good,
not the fans.
Good clarification. Kevin Durant is a legend of the game. One of the 3 players that we are celebrating. Yesterday, I called him the trifecta, LeBron, Steph, and KD. KD coming back, I don't think it'll be welcome arms, always cheers, but it is momentous because it showed that the franchise has turned the page. They won a championship, and now turning the page maybe allows you to appreciate the past, and having Kevin Durant is great. The one thing that I love about this game is not just, what's happening outside the lines, what's happening within the lines. These are 2 teams that will compete for championships based off of their construction for the years to come. The Rockets finished number 2 in the West, and they added the piece that mattered, the one that will help boost their offense. They already have Ime, they already have the defense, they have maintained their young core, which includes an all-star in Alperen Şengün, and now you have the generational player that is going to hopefully bring them to the promised land. But the team that is literally trying to stop them, we get them on night 1. When they get their rings, when the banner drops, when you have the MVP and SGA, when you have these rising stars of Chet Holmgren and obviously J-Dub, it could not be a better situation. But I do think that there is some kind of absolution in the fact that this is the only franchise, this is the first time the franchise has a championship since Seattle, ever since it moved to OKC. So there's some peace there, but I don't know if the peace is gonna mean KD is gonna be crying. I don't think KD's gonna.
I don't know that KD's gonna be shedding tears, and the NBA schedule makers definitely have a flair for the dramatics. That is for sure. All right, bringing it back to the here and now, the Rockets made a big splash trading for KD, but despite Houston being eligible to sign Durant to a 2-year, $118 million extension, no deal has been reached. So, Tim, I'm going to bring you in on this. Why do you think Rafael Stone and the Rockets front office are holding off on this?
But because there's not a sense of urgency to get it done right now. The Rockets have other business that they need to handle this summer, primarily the extension for Tyrese. And look, it was a big splash. It was potentially the final piece that they needed to be a real deal contender, that go-to guy that they were sorely missing last season. Big splash, but they didn't push all their chips in. They were very patient as far as the pursuit of a trade for Kevin Durant. Matter of fact, I wouldn't say they pursued it. They waited till the price was at a value that they felt was comfortable for them. Kevin Durant's their best player. He's not necessarily their priority, and that's not an insult to him. Their priority is making sure that they have as long of a runway as possible while trying to cash in on this window that they created by getting Kevin Durant. And certainly, I think both sides want that to be more than a 1-year window, but it's not going to be a max extension. If that was the priority for Kevin Durant, it would have been done in conjunction with the trade, and he probably wouldn't have ended up in Houston. So I think you're going to see both sides take a